Okay, Steeler fans, it is the mailbag segment, and I am excited to say that, hey, Oklahoma Joe's hooked me up, so I'm going to hook them up. This is courtesy of Oklahoma Joe's, the mailbag segment every week. If you are interested in a new grill or smoker, check out Oklahoma Joe's. You could buy it at your local Lowe's, or you could go online to Oklahoma Joe's official website. If you find something like my favorite grill, the Highlander, which I have been using for over 4 years now, and it's still as good as ever, you can check that one out. If you want to save some money, use the code RideOrDie10 and save yourself 10%. But let's get right to this. I actually thought we were going to have a lot more questions than we did post-draft. We didn't. That's okay. We're still going to answer them all. Let's go to Jeff Coons, our buddy from up north. He said, Jeff, you enjoy the trenches like I like punters. The team addressed the O-line in the draft. Consider it stabilized. The D-line has many options, but several question marks as well. How confident are you that Cam Hayward will return to form this year, aiding the full line? I actually think, when Cam Hayward was very open and very honest about his injuries last year, actually got hurt in training camp, tried to play through it, completely tears his groin muscle, which there's a lot of different groin muscles, and that's neither here nor there, has to be surgically repaired. He said that at best, he was never over 75% for almost all last year, playing on one leg. If he is deemed healthy, it's a big if. I think that he is capable of returning to form this year. I do think the Steelers should be smart with how they use him. Don't put him out there for 75% of the snaps. He's not a spring chicken anymore, folks. You got to give the guy some rest. You got to keep him. That's what they need. They need him to stabilize the defensive line. If he's not there, he's not going to be able to do that. All right, Believers with the Ride or Die Crew poll of the week. He's a grade the Steelers draft. Had a lot of votes in this one. It's A+ or A. I said a solid A. 52%, though, said an A+. That's awesome. I'm glad that people are stoked about the draft. Zach Farnsworth said, hey, Jeff, appreciate the content. If someone was going to give you a jersey of your choice from the new Steelers draft class, which one would you choose and why? Okay, I said this, and someone actually responded to Zach. It was Jeff. He said he's not a jersey guy. Give him a T-shirt. That's the truth. Jeff Coons, he knows me well. He's been listening to the podcast for a long time, and I feel like those that listen do know me. I'm not a jersey guy anymore. I don't wear jerseys. I'm not going to buy any jerseys. But if someone's going to give me a jersey of one of the draft picks, I said this on the Believe in Steelers podcast. I was on there with Mark Bergen yesterday. And I said, Roman Wilson, the more I watch this guy, the more I like this guy, the more he reminds me of Hines Ward. The way he talks off the field, the way he plays on the field. I love it. There you go. All right, let's go to Chris Turney. Said the Steelers had not traded Deontay Johnson, would there still be this urgency for wide receiver? Would there be this push to trade for someone like Sutton, Debo, and Ayuk? Now, that's a great question. In my opinion, if the Steelers had not traded Deontay Johnson, then there would not be a drastic urgency at wide receiver. However, the Steelers knew what they were doing when they traded him. This wasn't we're just going to trade this guy, and then we're going to hope for the best. This was we're going to trade this guy, and we know that we're going to be able to upgrade the position. And I do believe the Steelers are going to upgrade the position. And so I think that, no, there might not have been the push for a top-tier receiver, but at the same time, the Steelers know what they want. And Deontay Johnson wasn't it. So those two cannot necessarily go hand in hand, in my opinion, because the Steelers knew what they were doing when they traded him. If they wanted to keep him, they would have kept him. They didn't want him. He didn't want to be here anymore. See you later. All right. Let's go to Eric. Love the show, Jeff. Simple question. During the draft, do you believe the Steelers have people who scout other NFL teams to know what their needs are, and if they would possibly need to trade up or back for the players they want or the needs that they need to meet? Okay, Eric, that's a great question. I don't know if they specifically employ people who go and scout other teams and what their team needs are. I don't know that. I do know that they are very much in tune with other teams and what their team needs are. Because when they're looking at the draft board, let's use 2023 as the perfect example. Everyone knew the New York Jets needed a tackle. Steelers needed a tackle. And so who was in between them? Who was right in front of the Jets? The New England Patriots. So Omar Khan calls Bill Belichick at the time and says, Bill, we need a tackle, man. We can't stay put because the Jets are going to take Broderick Jones. It's the last round one guy. We need to trade up. Let's make a deal. Bill Belichick makes the move. The Steelers leapfrog the Jets, and they take the tackle. So in that instance, they know what other teams are looking for and if they have to move up and down the draft board. Brian Haynes says, I hope I didn't miss it. You didn't. Are you more excited about this draft or worried about the quarterback room for next season? This season, we're kind of stacked, but after this season, there are quite a few question marks. By the way, this weekend was amazing with all the content. You guys rule. So, Brian, thank you very much. If for anyone that enjoyed our live stream, anyone that just watched for a few minutes, whether it's day 1, day 2, day 3, thank you. Thank you. We kind of put that together last minute, had a schedule with all these people coming in, and I thought it was fantastic. It was tiring. It was a lot, but still it was a lot of fun. So thank you, Brian, for the kind words. We appreciate it. I do understand what you're saying about the quarterback room. I was talking with an individual who's a Steeler fan today, and they asked me about the quarterback situation. Like, well, don't you want Justin Fields to be like the guy? And what do you think you should do with the option? And I said, well, yes, I get that sentiment that you want the long-term solution to be on the team now. And I also understand why, if you wanted to give Justin Fields, say, a new contract, why he would be hesitant to sign it. Why would I sign a new contract now? I'm young. Like, I'm going to go out and find a new deal somewhere else. I'm going to test free agency. There could be some serious issues after the season. But I will say this. Let's wait till after this season. Let's get through this season first. I hope the Steelers have to pay a quarterback. One of them. I hope. Why? Because that means someone played well enough to deserve another contract. That's what I hope. Let's go to J-Dub. Who are some of the under-the-radar wide receivers the team could target via trade? Seems the Niners guys and Sutton aren't on the market. Doesn't mean they won't be dealt, but at what cost? That's a good point. I'll tell you a guy that I would love. I don't know what it would cost, and I doubt they're even shopping this guy. But if Terry McLaurin of the Washington Commanders, if the Commanders were even thinking about it, like, well, let's think about it. Okay, hello, we might have a trade partner. I'd go after him. I love Terry McLaurin. Always liked him since he came out of Ohio State. He's always been with that crappy organization in Washington. Get him to the black and gold is what I say. Someone brought up, I think it was maybe Mark Bergen on the podcast when I joined him, talked about Tyler Lockett out in Seattle in the upper Northwest. I never thought about Tyler Lockett, but if Tyler Lockett was on the market, that would be fantastic. What a get that would be. What would it cost? I don't know. Those are some two names. Again, no inside information here. This is not sourced information. This is just me basically giving my opinion. Steeler fan 69, who always goes above and beyond to give us some humor in the mailbag segment. He said, Jeff, when my wife gets depressed, I let her color in my tattoos. She just wants a shoulder to cry on. Crayon. Get it? Crayon. Very good. Why did the cat get a ticket? Because it littered. And last one, my wife thought I would never get over my Phil Collins obsession. And I got to sing this. But take a look at me now. That's my best Phil Collins. So there you go. Thank you very much, Steeler fan 69. Let's go to Ryan Carter. Arthur Smith is going to break the league with the Najee and Jalen Warren duo. He is building a running machine and backup parts. Steelers finally have an identity. Is Peyton Wilson a broke man's Shazier? And do you think Tomlin has better chemistry with Khan than he did with Colbert? All right, let's go backwards. Does Tomlin have a better chemistry with Khan than he did with Colbert? I don't think so. Not yet. He and Kevin Colbert were very much intertwined with their thinking. Is Peyton Wilson a broke man's Ryan Shazier? I don't think so. Look, Ryan Shazier was a first-round pick. There's a lot of people that said that if Peyton Wilson didn't have the injury history, he would have been a first-round draft pick, could have been the first defender off the board. I'm not going to go that far. Do the Steelers finally have an identity? I think they do on offense. I really, really do. But go back to Peyton Wilson for a second. I think he came into a great situation. He's not going to be thrust into the lineup with the Landon Roberts and Patrick Queen. There's your 1-2. You don't want to Landon Roberts in obvious passing downs. They're going to pick on him. And while he showed more versatility there last year than we thought, that's when you get Peyton Wilson out there. Let him be your third down guy. Patrick Queen's your every down linebacker. And I think that's a good setup. And if Cole Holcomb comes back, it gives you another layer of protection there, so to speak. He's going to be a special teams guy too. All right, let's go to Doc M. What moves can the organization make, if any, to push the needle to championship contender this season? Should we be worried that the con artists will sell the farm to win one? Would getting a 7th championship be worth having the farm sold? In terms of, is it worth it? Go ask the LA Rams if selling all their draft picks away was worth their Super Bowl ring. There's a reason why they printed up shirts that said F them picks. You sometimes can mortgage the future for the now. Some people don't like that, but if you get a championship and you actually win it, you'll never regret those moves. You'll never regret it. So I don't, and by the way, I don't think Khan would sell the farm. He might mortgage the future a little bit. I don't think he's going to sell the farm. This guy's too calculated to do that. And what moves would need to be made to push the needle? Well, to me, it's not about a move. It's not about an acquisition. Sure, if they go out and get a Stephon Gilmore, that would help a lot. If they go out and trade for a Deebo Samuel, that would help a lot. But none of it means a freaking thing if they don't have good quarterback play. None of it. None of it. That's why I said the biggest question mark on this team going into 2024 is quarterback. We'll see. Joshua Petrick said, "Hey, Jeff, I went golfing for the second time on Saturday. I lost 3 golf balls on the first hole." And he laughs out loud. "But did hit some solid shots, enough to want to keep playing. Got any tips for the beginner?" Now, I'm going to say this, Josh. I want you to check out my Fairways and Dreams podcast tomorrow, Thursday. I will answer that golf question there. So wherever you get your podcast, search Fairways, the and sign, Dreams. Subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, all that good stuff. That's my golf podcast. Do 2 a week. Tuesdays with a guest, Thursdays by myself. On Thursdays, I always ask for questions. I will answer that there. Next, from Joshua, "Gosh, this draft got me excited for the season. What are some positions that you would still like to see addressed?" All right, so got me excited for the season. I would still like to see wide receiver, still like to see cornerback. Those are the biggest two. Let's go to Brian Katz. "Do we think Connor Hayward is going to stay on the team in 2024? If so, how will he be used under Arthur Smith's offense?" I don't know how they'll plan on using him in the Arthur Smith offense. I do think he will have to earn his spot on the team just like he did last year. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle all these tight ends, including Hot Rod. Let's go to Jay Allen. "Rank these positions as most likely to least likely to be drafted in the first round of 2025. Okay, we're going 2025 already. We haven't even seen 2024, but nonetheless, here we go. From most likely to least likely to be drafted. The options are defensive line, cornerback, wide receiver, cornerback, and edge. So the most likely to be drafted in the first round is cornerback. You got that twice. So I'm assuming one of those is quarterback. So we'll say cornerback, wide receiver is the second, defensive line is the third, edge is the fourth, and quarterback would be last because I think one of these guys is going to show out. And then lastly, from James, "Hey, Jeff, aside from Fautanu and most likely Frazier, what are your jersey number guesses for the remaining draft picks?" I think that Roman Wilson will wear 10. I did see, I think, that the other Wilson, Peyton Wilson, I think his number was already selected, if I saw on Twitter. It hasn't been made official. I don't know. I'd have to think about like the McCormick 4th round pick, what numbers are available. Same with the Lee selection in the 6th round, Watts in the 6th round. I don't know. I have to think about that. That's actually Brian Anthony Davis's bread and butter. He loves trying to predict that stuff. That's not necessarily for me. All right. That wraps it up for the mailbag segment. I thank you all. Every single Tuesday, I put out a tweet in case you're wondering, how do I get my question answered? Find me on Twitter at jhartman, HARTMAN_PIT. I put out the question every Tuesday. All you have to do is respond to that tweet. I will answer the question live on the show every single Wednesday morning. Y'all never disappoint. The Ride or Die crew is the absolute best. I will be back on Friday. We'll have Jeremy Jerome Betts on for the All Bets Are Off segment. You heard from him on Monday. In case you missed it, go back and check it out. Otherwise, make sure you're staying tuned to SteelCurtainNetwork.com and all of our podcasts, not just my Let's Ride podcast, but Dave Schofield's Stat Geek tomorrow, the Steel City Insider today at noon, all of it. You don't want to miss it. So that does it for me. You know how we finished it out. Be safe, be kind, and God bless. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Friday. Go Steelers.